the Prophet ﷺ, he went through every trial and tribulation and test and challenge that you can ever imagine. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ buried 6 of his 7 children in his lifetime. Imagine putting 6 of his children into the ground and putting the dirt on top of their bodies. The Sahaba said that when the Prophet ﷺ was during the janazah of his daughter Zainab, when he was putting her body into the ground, he cried so much that they heard his chest wheeze and make a sound. The Prophet ﷺ, who lost his beloved wife Khadija, who wasn't just his wife, but his support system when he started his da'wah. The Prophet ﷺ, who was starved and beaten and physically abused and emotionally abused. The Prophet ﷺ felt pain that many of us could never even fathom, and he's the one who taught us these things. The Prophet ﷺ was actually kicked out of his home in Mecca, driven out, and he became a refugee and migrated to Medina. The Prophet ﷺ went through so much. And you know what he did? He reframed the way he looked at life's challenges. And he taught the Sahaba and us as well to do that. And in order to reframe the way we look at these tests that we are experiencing in life, we have to ask ourselves, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us? What do we believe about Allah? When we think of Allah, do we think of a loving and kind and merciful Lord, a forgiving Lord? Or do we think of a vengeful Lord? Did you know that once the Prophet ﷺ was standing with the Sahaba and they saw a woman frantically running around looking for something and she was crying? She was looking for her baby. And then she found her baby and she held it close. And so the Prophet ﷺ told the Sahaba, do you think this woman would harm her child? Do you think that this woman would throw her child into a pit of fire? And they said, no, Ya Rasulullah, she wouldn't. Did you not see what we just saw? She just spent all this time looking for it, and when she found it, she held it so tight. And then the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves and has more mercy towards every single one of you than a mother does to her newborn child. Reframing the way you look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah tests you, it's not a punishment. It's not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking revenge on you. Because the Prophet ﷺ said that when Allah loves someone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests them. And if that was the case, then why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala test His beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that He Himself actually said, the person in this world who was most tested was me and the prophets. Reframe the way you look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and look at Him as a loving, merciful Lord. And also, reframe the way you look at this world. Many of us want this world to be Jannah. Believe me, I know. I wake up every morning hoping that my day goes well, right? We wake up in the morning and we want our day to be perfect. We don't want any hiccups. When we're driving, we don't want to get a flat tire or get into an accident. When we get to work, we don't want any issues or problems. We want this world to be perfect. And we were kind of conditioned to want this world to be perfect because of social media and all of the shows and movies out there. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you remember the ayat I recited in the beginning, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the reality of this world very clear وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. We will surely test each and every one of you with something of fear and hunger and a loss of wealth and lives. This world is a world of tests. And once we accept that we're not in Jannah yet, it'll make our tests so much easier. Now, when we're tested, there's 3 things that we can do at that time. The first thing that we can do is to be discontent with the test and angry with God. And I've met a lot of people who do that. And that road is actually a bitter road to go on. These people are miserable. The second thing that one can do when facing a test is to be patient and trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if you don't understand why. And the highest level, the third thing that one can do when experiencing a challenge or a trial or a difficulty is be content and grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during that time.